The air stank of desperation and burnt ozone. Captain Elias Rourke stood at the edge of the makeshift auction circle, arms folded across his worn jacket. His boots crunched against the coarse dust of Galros Outpost, a fringe station built on a rocky moon orbiting a dead planet. The stars overhead blinked cold and indifferent, just like the crowd gathering to barter for sentient lives. He hated this place. Hated that he was here. But intel was intel, and Rourke needed answers. About missing cargo, rogue mercenaries, and a stolen Chalcari data crystal. The auction was just a detour. Until she stepped forward. She didn't beg like the others. Didn't tremble. Her exoskeletal frame gleamed under the harsh UV lamps. Sleek black chitin veined with bioluminescent blue. She stood tall, segmented arms folded neatly, mandibles clenched in poise. Chalcari. And not just any. Noble caste, if Rourke's military memory served him. Extinct supposedly. I volunteer, she said in perfect trade tongue, voice dry and toneless. My name is Karinai. In exchange for transport and sustenance for my hatchling, I offer myself in total service. Gasps murmured through the crowd. Even among slavers there were lines. This wasn't a raid victim. She was offering herself. A smaller figure clung to her leg, barely knee-height. The hatchling, no older than a few cycles, trembled, translucent wings twitching with stress. Its breathing was shallow. The slaver, a four-eyed Trelassi named Brelg, clapped his claws together. Honored guests, what a rarity! A Chalcari aristocast, intact and unspoiled. Starting bid, 20,000 credits. 25, shouted a thin, masked buyer. 30, 35 from the blood trader in red. 45, Rourke said, his voice low, firm and deadly calm. Heads turned. Brelg blinked all four eyes. Do I hear 50? Silence. No one challenged a human who sounded like that. Rourke stepped forward and tossed his ID chip to Brelg. Full payment. No indenture contract. Immediate transfer. No indenture. Brelg sputtered. That violates. I wasn't asking. Rourke's hand drifted near the hilt of the old earth-forged sidearm at his belt. Not flashy plasma but something more primal. He smiled. Transfer. The credits are good. They were. Merc work paid well. And Rourke had fewer and fewer things worth spending it on. Brelg cleared his throat and gestured. Karinai approached warily, pulling the hatchling close. Her compound eyes flicked from the crowd to Rourke's face, searching. He met her gaze. I'm not your master, he said quietly. I'm getting you both out of here. Her voice was stiff. I do not require. You volunteered for your child. You're no slave. You're a mother. She blinked. Lowly. Rourke turned on his heel. Follow me. They walked in silence through the station's underbelly, past flickering neon signs and leaking coolant vents. Karinai's claws clicked softly, and her child, Vec, she later said, clung to her chest. Rourke's ship, the Marlin's Run, was a scarred old freighter with reinforced plating and weapons that didn't match any standard registry. It wasn't pretty, but it was fast, loyal, and stocked with real food. Karinai stepped into the cargo bay and flinched at the unexpected warmth. You have Otmo-controlled chambers. Most life likes breathing, Rourke said, flipping switches. I even stock fresh greens. Had to, after one client tried to eat the wiring. Vec chirped weakly. Rourke bent down and opened a medkit. The hatchling hissed. Karinai pulled it closer, defensive. Rourke didn't move. I fought Chalcari during the border war, he said. Didn't like it. Didn't like what it made me. I've learned since then. Pain doesn't care what species you are. Let me help. She studied him. Finally, she extended Vec's tiny arm. Rourke injected a mild immunobooster and patched a cracked plate. Vec sagged in relief. Karinai's mandibles clicked softly. Not language. Not quite. But gratitude. Over the next few cycles, Karinai observed everything. She refused to eat at first, until Rourke showed her earth fruit and the concept of dessert. Vec took to it faster, especially bananas, which the hatchling insisted on squishing before eating. Rourke watched them from the pilot's seat. "You never told me why you were on Galros." Karenai hesitated. "My caste fell after the war. We lost purpose. I fled with Vec to avoid forced conscription. I sought medical help. No one would give it. Until you sold yourself." She said nothing. "You're not cargo," Rourke said. "You're crew. Or maybe even family. If you want." Karenai tilted her head. "Family is not chosen. It is assigned by caste. Yeah, we do it different." She was silent for a while. Then, "You are unpredictable." "HFY, sweetheart," he said, grinning. "Humanity. F******, yeah." She recoiled slightly. "Is that a battle cry or a mating ritual?" Rourke barked a laugh. "Both, depending on the context. But peace never lasted. It started with a ping on the comnet. Bounty alert. Rourke. Wanted for unauthorized release of restricted assets. Value, 80,000 credits. Kill value, 60,000. Guess they want you back," he muttered. Karenai stepped beside him. "You endangered yourself for us. I did what was right. Rightness is irrelevant to most species. Not to mine." She stared at him, then glanced at Vec, curled in the corner with a blanket and half a banana. "Then perhaps," she said slowly, "your species is dangerous in a way I had not considered." "Yup." Rourke flicked a switch and the ship leapt into FTL. "They never see us coming." As the stars stretched into lines, Karenai remained at the viewport. "You expect nothing in return." "No. You bought me. I bought your freedom. You owe me nothing." She turned, mandibles clicking softly. "Then I choose this debt freely." Rourke raised an eyebrow. "That's not how debt works." "It is now." Was. Then she offered a strange gesture. Half bow, half flourish. Chalkeri formal gratitude. Where? And deeply sincere. The lights dimmed for sleep cycle. Rourke leaned back in the co-pilot's seat. Vex snored gently in the corner. Karenai sat beside him, her glowing blue markings dimmed with rest. "I believed your kind were irrational," she said. "We are. And dangerous. Definitely. But kind." He shrugged. "Sometimes." She studied him. "Then perhaps I will stay. For now." Rourke gave a tired smile. "Yeah. That'd be nice." As the ship sailed into the void, the human and the alien mother sat side by side in silence. Two survivors bound not by contract or species, but by something far stranger. The Marlin's Run floated in low orbit over Drell's belt, a sparsely patrolled asteroid field used more for smugglers' detours than legitimate trade routes. Inside the ship, the mood was far warmer than the cold vacuum outside. Karenai stood in the engineering bay, her clawed hands gently brushing against a diagnostic panel. Her chitinous fingers worked delicately across human-made interfaces that weren't designed for alien touch. Rourke watched from the upper level, coffee in hand. "You're not just a scientist," he said, voice echoing down. "You're a systems specialist." She didn't turn. "Xenobiology includes environmental interfacing. During my caste's reign, I was tasked with integrating organic systems into artificial habitats." Rourke raised an eyebrow. "So, you were a space habitat engineer. Among other things." He whistled softly. "And they threw you away." Karenai's upper shoulders lifted slightly. A Chalkeri gesture akin to a shrug. "Once my caste dissolved, our skills were deemed obsolete. Those who survived became refugees. Or property." Down the hall, Vec chirped happily, his bioluminescent markings pulsing in patterns that matched the beat of the music Rourke had introduced him to, an old earth jazz playlist. Somehow, the hatchling had taken a liking to saxophones. Karenai's gaze softened. "He laughs now." "Yeah," Rourke said, taking a sip of his drink. "Bananas, cartoons, and Coltrane. humanity's greatest contributions to galactic civilization. Karenai tilted her head. I still struggle to understand your species. You are chaotic, disorganized, yet it works. We weaponized unpredictability, Rourke said. Started with guerrilla warfare, ended with banana smoothies. She clicked softly. He had learned that was Chalcari humor. Subtle, dry, but genuine. Later in the galley, Rourke cooked dinner. Real food, not synth paste. He had somehow managed to stock ingredients from Earth's Southeast Asia, likely leftovers from a smuggling contract. Karenai watched him work, observing the unnecessary flourishes with scientific interest. You engage in rituals around food. We call it cooking, he said, handing her a bowl. Try this. She sniffed it, more a data scan than a gesture of taste, and took a small sip. Her thorax lit up faintly. Spicy. In a good way. In a memorable way. He laughed. Close enough. As they ate, Rourke pulled up a display. Showed recent bounty board updates. His name was now accompanied by a red flag. Live capture recommended. Dangerous. Armed. Resourceful. Karenai leaned in. Someone increased the bounty. Yeah. Either Brelg's mad I burned his slave registry, or someone wants you back real bad. Her claws flexed. We need somewhere to hide, Rourke said. I'm thinking. The Hollow Bastion. He blinked. You know about that place. It was once a Chalcari observation post. Now abandoned. I can access its systems. If we land undetected, we can repair, refuel, and reorient. You sure it's safe? No, she said. But it's ours. As they prepared to jump, Karenai approached the cockpit alone. May I ask a question? Rourke looked up from the NAV console. Shoot. Why do you help others? He shrugged. Because I've seen what happens when people don't. She seemed unsatisfied with the answer. Most species require incentive. Rourke considered that. Maybe we're weird like that. Most people are too scared to be kind first. She tilted her head. And you are not afraid. He smiled, not without sadness. Oh, I'm terrified. I've just gotten good at hiding it. A silence passed between them. You are unlike any being I have known. Thanks. I think. The Hollow Bastion was a dead moon station orbiting a gas giant. Cloaked, shielded, and decaying. Perfect for fugitives. As they docked, Karenai took the lead. Her presence awakened ancient Chalcari interfaces embedded in the walls. Biometric systems pulsed with soft light as they recognized her genetic signature. Still works, she murmured. Rourke followed, pistol drawn. Let's not wake any ghosts. Inside the station was eerie. Black-shelled walls. Living metal. Organic doors that flexed open and shut with a sigh. Karenai's movements grew more confident here. She was home in a way. Rourke watched her walk like someone reclaiming more than just territory, identity. In the central chamber, she activated a long-dead console. Greens flickered. A map of old Chalcari territories appeared, marked in red and gray. Lost, she said, pointing at half the map. But not forgotten. Rourke nodded. You thinking what I'm thinking? He turned. That someone orchestrated our fall. Yes. He raised an eyebrow. You think the war with humanity wasn't an accident? I think it was engineered. Rourke stiffened. You have proof. Not yet. Suddenly the console screamed. Incoming vessel. Tag. Military-grade silhouette. Rourke's jaw clenched. How fast can you activate this station's defenses? I'll need time. He handed her his sidearm. You've got it. Mercs landed hard. 3 ships. Not pirates. Contracted bounty hunters, slick and armed with mixed-species gear. Rourke welcomed them with an improvised trap, a degaussed corridor with a magnetic field loop. One wrong step, and half their weapons were yanked into the ceiling. The chaos gave Karenai time. She reactivated the station's spine arrays, semi-sentient defense clusters that bristled like black feathers along the outer hull. Outside, plasma fire lit up the void. One merc ship exploded as the station's ancient railgun spat molten steel at relativistic speeds. Inside, Rourke moved like a ghost. Military instincts kicked in. Shoot, move, misdirect. Set fires in air vents. Led enemies into self-sealing blast zones. Karenai reappeared, blood, or the alien equivalent, staining one side of her carapace. "You okay?" Rourke asked. She tossed him a recharged fusion pack. "They disabled the generators. I restarted them manually." "You touched an unstable power core. Your kind does not have a monopoly on recklessness." He stared at her. She clicked again. "That was a joke." "God help me," Rourke muttered. "I think you're learning sarcasm." The last of the mercs fled, crippled and terrified. But the cost wasn't nothing. Vec had taken a fall during the chaos, his wings torn, his pulse erratic. Rourke found him under a collapsed conduit, limp but breathing. Karenai cradled her son in all four arms. Her breath came fast, uneven. "He will live," she said, voice tight. "But not if this continues." Rourke knelt beside her. "We end this." Her gaze flicked up. "Together. Always." That night, by the flickering light of dying fusion lamps, Karenai finally rested. "You fought with precision," Rourke said. "That wasn't refugee instinct. That was training." "I was not just a scientist," she admitted. "I studied war to prevent it. I failed." "You didn't fail." She turned toward him. "You do not know the weight of survival." Rourke met her gaze. "I know exactly what it costs. That's why I keep paying." Vex stirred in her arms. She looked down, and when she looked back at Rourke, something had changed. Not admiration. Not gratitude. Trust. As the station powered down into low drain mode, Karenai joined Rourke on the observation deck. The gas giant loomed outside, painted in ribbons of gold and orange. She said, "I once believed emotion weakened judgment. And now I wonder how your kind survived without any logic at all." Rourke grinned. "Magic. And dumb luck." She looked at him. "You are not what I expected from the species that shattered my people. And you're not what I expected from the species we feared." They stood together in silence, separated by biology, history, and war. But side by side. Word count. 1-200. Would you like Chapter 3 next? The pace will escalate from here, with new revelations and the beginning of the galactic threat. The hollow bastion hummed quietly in standby mode, deep beneath the storms of the gas giant. Rourke leaned against a bulkhead, a datapad in one hand, staring at a decrypted message Karenai had just finished reconstructing. The words chilled him. Operation Glass Nest. Authorized. High Command, Human/Chalkari Collab. Objective. Destabilize Chalkari Unity through internal caste dissolution. Status. Ongoing. Termination Protocol. Classified. "You were right," he said. Karenai stood still, eyes scanning the lines. "We were engineered. The war wasn't spontaneous. It was lit from inside. By humans and Chalkari," Rourke muttered. "A Black Ops collab. Discredit your caste from within, trigger a collapse, and create a justification for war." It worked. Her voice was flat. "My people turned on each other. Our unity fractured. We lost. And humanity got easy access to your outer colonies. Trade routes. Resources." Karenai's claws clenched. "And you, your people, forgot us. Left us to rot." "No," Rourke said, voice low. "They buried you." That night, Rourke sat alone in the mess. The stars beyond the viewport felt farther away than usual. He thought about the war. About the missions he'd run. The whispers of Chalkari intelligence failures. The propaganda. He'd believed it. He felt filthy. Karenai entered quietly. Vec was sleeping, she said. Healing slowly. "You are angry," she noted. "Yeah," he said. "At my species. Myself. I was a pawn same as you. Just with a better contract." Your kind thrives in systems, she said. But you forget systems are made of choices. He looked up. And you? I believed in order. In structure. I was wrong. Caste was never unity. It was a leash. He paused. Vec deserves more. There was a silence. Rourke offered her the datapad. What do we do with this? He asked. Karenai didn't hesitate. We show them the truth. Their plan was insane. Which, to Rourke, meant it was probably good. Step 1. Sneak into Corridor Sigma, a neutral data relay station run by a mix of species, including humans, under a no-conflict pact. The station's relay beam could rebroadcast archived signals across 6 core systems. Truth bombs if timed right. Step 2. Break in, override the signal protocols, and upload the Operation Glass Nest documents along with Karenai's biometric authentication. Step 3. Don't die. Rourke prepped the Marlin's run, running final checks. Karenai was already in the medbay retrofitting old Chalcari stealth tech into the ship's hull. The spines pulsed with living circuitry. You sure this stuff won't grow into my cabin? Rourke asked, half-joking. Karenai's eyes glowed faintly. No promises. He laughed. I'm serious. If I wake up wrapped in vines again, I'm making you clean the bathroom. They arrived at Corridor Sigma 2 cycles later, cloaked and quiet. The station was massive, like a giant wheel spinning in the void, bristling with antennae and solar sails. It gleamed with diplomatic neutrality, hiding how much power pulsed inside. Rourke put on his old Alliance uniform. Outdated, but still enough to bluff a minor inspection pass. You're sure you don't want to stay with Vec? He asked. Karenai shook her head. This is my past. My failure. I will confront it. They docked and boarded, using old security codes bought off a shady info dealer from the Rim. For a brief moment everything felt smooth. Too smooth. Inside, the station was sterile, busy, and multicultural. Traders from 5 species moved between terminals. An avian Valari ambassador argued with a human clerk over bandwidth allocation. Rourke and Karenai slipped into the secondary relay tower. The old codes worked. Doors opened. Then came the voice. Hands where I can see them. They froze. A woman stepped from the shadows, weapon drawn. Her stance was perfect. Her uniform bore the Alliance black crest. Military intelligence. Hello, Captain Rourke, she said. Been a long time. Commander Relan, Rourke said. Didn't think you'd still be in the game. I never left, she replied, eyes flicking to Karenai. And neither did she. Karenai's claws clicked softly. You know me. Relan didn't answer. Instead, she tapped her comm, asset alpha located. Rourke confirmed. Prepare for retrieval. Retrieval, Rourke growled. She's not a weapon. She's a mother. She's Chalcari caste-level commandware, Captain. She's more than a mother. She's a keystone. A living decryption key. Karenai stiffened. That is not possible. You don't remember because it was encoded into your neural lattice. Your caste made sure only one of you could ever trigger the failsafe. And guess what? You're it. Rourke took a step forward. Let us go. We'll publish the files. Let the galaxy judge. Relan scoffed. You think truth matters. People need control. Not chaos. Spoken like someone who's never been on the other end of it. Then Relan's comm sparked, cut off mid-transmission. Karenai moved. West. She activated her inner defense node. A bioelectric pulse meant to disable nearby tech. Relan's rifle shorted. Rourke tackled her into the wall. The woman hit hard and didn't get back up. Karenai's arms trembled. I did not know I had that. You've got more than they ever guessed, Rourke said. Let's move. Inside the relay core, time ran like fire. Rourke and Karenai uploaded the glass nest files. As the terminal pulsed, Karenai stepped forward and added something new. A memory crystal, grown inside her own bioarchitecture. What is it? Rourke asked. My truth, she said. My memories. All of them. Unedited. Let them see the fall. The files began to stream. Galactic networks lit up with the leak. Political channels, media feeds, underground boards, civilian alerts. The evidence was irrefutable. Human and Chalkari black units had conspired. The noble caste had been sacrificed. Entire cities were abandoned on purpose. Colonies were misled. Soldiers lied to. The reaction was instant. Across multiple systems, protests ignited. On Earth, the net chatter channels surged with demands for hearings. On Chalkari worlds, survivors crawled from exile, remembering who they once were. But the celebration was short. Outside, the station shuddered. The Black Crest had arrived in force. Frigates, drones, cutters. No questions, no warnings. Time to leave, Rourke barked. Iran. In the docking bay, Vec waited in a containment pod, chirping anxiously. The child sensed the tension. As they boarded, Rourke's console lit red. "Incoming," he shouted. "Missiles. West. Coordinated." Karanai acted instinctively. She fused with the living tech in the ship, commanding it like a second skin. The Marlin's run didn't dodge. Dance. Weaving between explosions, it surged into escape velocity. One drone got too close. Karanai rerouted auxiliary power and spat an EMP pulse through the ship's exhaust vents. The drone died in a burst of static. Rourke laughed as they hit FTL. "Okay. That was awesome." Karanai was silent, focused. Her carapace glowed with residual charge. Then slowly she turned. "We are no longer prey." They didn't stop jumping until they reached a free zone nebula near Polys 9, a floating pirate bazaar shielded by legal ambiguity. As they landed, Karanai collapsed briefly, energy spent. Rourke caught her. "Hey, stay with me." "I am fine," she breathed. "Just recalibrating. My systems have not integrated with this level of tech in decades." "You're part of this ship now," he said in awe. "No," she replied. "It is part of me." That night, as Vex slept, Karanai and Rourke sat under the flickering lights of a rogue station bar. No one recognized them. "I saw the feeds," he said. "You changed everything. We changed it. Some people will deny it. Others will twist it. They always do. But the truth's out now. You lit the match." She looked at him. "You gave me the fire." Oz. Then gently her hand brushed his. He didn't flinch. Instead, he laced his fingers with hers. "Whatever comes next," she said, "we face it as one." Rourke smiled. "You got it, Commander." Word count, 1205. Chapter 4 will conclude the story, with the Alliance's final move, Vec's unexpected role, a desperate stand, and a moment that fully earns the HFY spirit. Ready for Chapter 4. The Free Zone Nebula of Polys 9 swirled outside the hangar like a dream caught in stasis. Between the dense clouds of hydrogen and cobalt gas, the outlaw station known as Scylla's Haven spun lazily on its axis. Smugglers, ex-soldiers, and deserters prowled its broken decks, people who had no faith left in governments, only in grit. Rourke adjusted his rifle sling as Karanai finished securing Vec in the makeshift cradle aboard the Marlin's run. The child's chitin had darkened, a sign of rapid development. He was growing. "Yes. He knows," Karanai said quietly. "He hears the void. A ship. The data songs I used to pilot it." Rourke gave a small smile. "Takes after his mom, huh?" She tilted her head. "What do human males say at this juncture?" "Damn right he does." Rourke chuckled. "Perfect." Then the comms flared. Black Crest signal. Open broadcast. All channels. To the fugitives known as Captain Elias Rourke and Subject K-7, surrender the Chalkari asset and the classified data now. Or we will glass this station and everyone on it. The message ended. Karanai hissed softly. "They will kill hundreds to silence one truth." "Not today," Rourke said grimly. "We make our stand. The Alliance makes its move." 4 Black Crest cruisers entered the nebula, shielded, bristling with plasma cannons and stealth drones. They locked onto Scylla's haven, powering up primary weapons. In the control tower, a group of mercenary captains argued over whether to run or sell out the fugitives. Rourke stepped forward, rifle lowered. You give us up, you die first. You help us fight, you might live. And if we win, your station becomes legend. One pirate, Captain Jord Vex, a massive Zandari in a flame-slick coat, spat on the floor. I hate the alliance, he said. Count me in. Others followed. Plan. Rourke gathered the defenders in the cargo bay. Listen up. We're not taking on the cruisers head-to-head. We draw them in, stall for time. While they're distracted, Karenai and I will take the Marlin's run and hit them from inside. It's a suicide mission unless... Karenai interrupted. Unless we become the virus. She stepped forward, revealing a new layer of organic plating. Her body had begun to fuse with the ship's adaptive architecture. She wasn't just a pilot now. She was interface. The run can hack into the cruiser's AI if I'm close enough. It will cost me. But I can blind them. Give you a window. What do you mean cost? Rourke asked. She looked at him. It will burn my neural pathways. I may not come back the same. If at all. No, Rourke said. There has to be another way. There's not. He grabbed her wrist. I won't lose you. Karenai's voice softened. You didn't buy me. You saved me. Let me do the same. The Battle of Scylla's Haven. The cruisers arrived like silent predators. The haven's defense platforms fired first, antiquated plasma bolts scattering like dust against advanced shields. Then the station lit up. Hidden railguns, drone swarms, EMP mines. Rourke's plan was brutal. Kiss. Distraction. Smoke and mirrors. Inside the Marlin's run, Karenai interfaced with the ship's core. Uploading biosignal. Now. They punched into FTL microburst and phased directly into the lead cruiser's hangar. The ship hit like a meteor. Alliance soldiers opened fire, but Karenai was already moving. Her limbs shimmered with techbone, blades, armor, living weaponry. She moved through them like a storm, stunning, disabling, never killing, unless she had to. Rourke covered her, firing precise shots, buying time as she reached the ship's neural core. Then she plugged in. The edge of the knife. Inside the Alliance ship's AI, Karenai found a maze of red-coated firewalls, old Chalcari constructs twisted by human logic. Override failed. Immune response initiated. Pain surged through her mind. She gritted her teeth. Rourke watched her twitch, convulse. He took down another soldier, shouting over the din. Come on! You can do this! Karenai's memories surged, Vec crying in a slave cage. Rourke's arms around her in the medbay. The moment she'd held a warm meal for the first time in years. He screamed. And then. Protocol breached. Control granted. The cruiser's lights dimmed. Karenai rerouted the ship's commands. Shut down the AI. Then she turned its weapons on the other cruisers. In seconds, the flagship began firing on its own fleet. The Black Crest formation fell into disarray. On Scylla's Haven the mercs cheered. Tide turned. The other ships began to retreat. One exploded as Karenai overloaded its core. Victory. But at a cost. The fallout. Karenai collapsed as the neural tether snapped. Rourke caught her, cradling her as alarms wailed around them. Karenai, don't you dare. Her eyes opened, glowing but unfocused. I see stars inside the code, she whispered. He carried her to the Marlin's run, dodging wreckage and gunfire. They escaped just before the cruiser's engine exploded. They hid for weeks, then months. The data they'd released kept spreading. Governments fractured. Investigations began. War tribunals opened. But Rourke didn't care about the politics. He cared about her. Karenai recovered slowly. The neural damage was extensive. Some memories never returned. Others changed. But Vec's presence helped. Her child sang to her in clicks and chirps, helping her remember who she was. Who she wanted to be. Epilogue. Home beyond stars. 2 years later, on a green world without a name, a new settlement bloomed. Not human. Not Chalkeri. Something shared. Rourke walked through the wildflower fields to a small dome where Karanai worked, crafting symbiotic tech with her hands, teaching Vec to build ships from living metal. "Food's ready," he called. She looked up and smiled. "I'm making him a glider. Just keep it away from the cliffs." "He's already jumped off 3. Rourke grinned. "He really takes after you." She tilted her head. "Then he will always rise." As night fell, Rourke and Karanai stood on a hill, watching the stars. "The galaxy changed," she said. "You changed it." "No. We did." She touched his face. "Do you ever wonder why you didn't sell me when you had the chance?" "No," he said simply. "But I know why I loved you the moment I didn't." She leaned into him. Above them, the stars sang in languages older than war. Final word count. 1 to 10. Themes paid off. HFY spirit. Tactical brilliance, human heart, selfless courage. Human-alien camaraderie. Trust built from pain and resilience. First contact to found family. Not through politics but through love and defiance. Emotional core. From slavery to freedom, from survival to legacy. HFY punchline. We don't win because we're stronger. We win because we choose to care. Let me know if you'd like a short sequel idea, character profiles, or a pitch-style summary for posting.